We call the benevolent beings of light, archangels, and ascended masters to guide and inspire us during this forum. Our forum's vision is to bring the understanding, tools, discipline, and support for those seeking to enter the straight and narrow path, the road less traveled, that will lead us along effectively and steadily through the ascension process. Integration of the human experience with our divine origin is moving us full circle to achieve our divine potential. So be it. Amen.
That is not my hand. That's Lord Maitreya's hand. See the M in the palm?
I come before you as a simple man. I come as a brother and a friend. I shall return you to your source. I am among you till the end of the age. My love surrounds you always. My heart beats in rhythm with yours. My hand shall guide you and protect you. My love has no bounds. Maitreya, the world teacher.
So 7 powers given. I'll tell you, this is a mighty, beautiful, and well-spoken video to really bring it home for all of us. These insights that we were given tonight are really the power that we have. It's already ours. We just have to find our way to start utilizing these powers, to own it. To own it. The 7 powers given. Let's start with the insight. All of you, think about how you seem to just know what to do. You know in your heart. It's not like you have to guess it out. It's not like you have to search for it. You just look at something and you know. You have it inside you to know what to do. And it's such a gift. It really is. We all have it. But do we use it? Do we trust it? Do we believe it? What we believe can manifest into a actual gift in action. If we don't believe it, then it doesn't happen. Even if you have that gift, it's activated and you're ready for it, until you believe it, until you start trusting it, you're not going to even recognize that it's yours. This is the whole thing about coming into yourself, reaching your potential. We must believe that this is possible. Do you believe? Yeah. Yeah. Our inner voice, 90% of the time, is talking to us about the things we didn't do, we could have done. The woulda, shoulda, coulda syndrome. And it kind of knocks us down. It makes us feel less than. It doesn't allow us to feel the goodness and beauty that we really are with this stuff sitting on us. So what do we do about it? Recognize it, decide whether we like it and want to keep it, or if we want to unload it. And when we want to unload it, that's the holy moment for us. It's the holy moment, because you'll get all the help in the world to do just that. Yeah. Nothing's holding us back. Nothing. Except who? Yeah. It's us. It's us. Like my little grandson used to say, I believe in Santa Claus. And he'd keep saying it and saying it and saying it. And so how about we believe in our divinity? As a child, come unto me as a child, right? Not childish, childlike, the innocence, the imagination wide open, the desire to learn more through experience and to find out who we really are. Gods and goddesses. That's our potential. If you want it bad enough, you'll get there. But you gotta want it. You gotta want it more than anything here. This 15-minute trip on Earth. And then you take on another body. Yeah. Insight to see through it all and get the answers in your gut, telling you the way. And then you can suggest to others once you've experienced it yourself. Because until you actually experience what you know, it isn't wisdom yet. You've got to experience it in the world. I thought if you just know it, you can tell people, but they can't hear you because you didn't get to the wisdom level yet. That empowers your voice through experience. When you can see through when somebody's talking to you and your gut's telling you they're not telling you really the story the way it happened, because they're like a little kids that just stole the cookie, crumbs all over him, coming on his lips, and he's saying, no, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. The dog knocked it off the counter and ate it all up. Oh, yeah. Then how'd the crumbs get on you, bud? Yeah, I didn't do it. Yeah, you did. My kids used to say, what do you have, eyes behind your head? I didn't have to turn around. I listened for the sounds of what they were doing. And I'd go, oh, what are you doing in the closet? I told you not to go in that closet. And they go, oh, it's the knowing. You can sit there with your eyes closed and you know through the energy that's around you. You just do. And you all have that potential. Start believing in it. Trust your gut. Even if you're wrong in the beginning, because, it's really your brain telling you, but you want it so bad, you imagine it's that. It's okay. Just start trusting and asking for help from your higher self. And until I did that, until I engaged my potential, the Christ in me, I kept using my brain thinking it was divine intervention. Yeah, well, didn't work out so well. So it kind of was a hint. The power of creation. I'm telling you, because we are gods and goddesses in the making, we started out that way in perfection. We can create. We create with our words, our thoughts, and our actions. We create good when we're in alignment with God's will, when it's something to be based on love in any activity that you can think of. But when it's selfish, when it's angry, when it's resentful, you don't want that coming back to you. So when we did this in the past, when we weren't living consciously, it was whiplashing back to us. It took a long time. And that's why we never knew that it was our own stuff coming back. We didn't remember when it happened. And now it takes 3.5 seconds and it'll hit you same day, same hour. Yep. And then you go, oh, I get it. Yep. I know exactly why that just happened. When you live consciously, you learn to hold your tongue, especially with people you live with, the ones closest to you. They're the easiest to abuse. You don't want to do that anymore. You're just abusing yourself. They're just showing you things that you don't like about yourself. So take care of it in you. And then the messenger, don't kill the messenger. They're there to help you. The power of creation. We create our life every moment. And then people say, well, why would I put something that horrible into my mission or my life's journey. Well, there was a lesson behind it, and it totally was something you wanted to learn. Maybe just the compassion for people who suffer from the same experience, you know, like somebody is in a wheelchair and they're not mobile and they can't get around. And you get annoyed because you're the caretaker. And it's like, oh God, every day I got to lift them out of the chair. I got to put them in the bed. Blah, 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 blah. And then one day something happens to you and you know what it feels like. You're laid up for a while, broken leg, broken arm, something. And all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, what they must have been going through. Mine was temporary. Theirs was permanent. And all of a sudden it changes you inside. I've had it happen to me so I can talk about it. And all of a sudden I started to realize, you know what? There's a great deal of suffering out there. And if I can do something nice, something caring, that is a gift back to me just for the sake that I saw it and I did it. And that's compassion, not looking for anything in return, just doing it out of the grace of your heart. You're creating your life, a life of love when you give love. Do what you want to come to you. How you'd like people to treat you, you treat others, especially those closest to you, living in your own home. It's so easy to snap at them when you're not having a good day. And they come home and they were looking forward to seeing you, and then bang, 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 you start clashing. Send them lots of love, because it's in that insight from the first number one that you already know, boy, they must have had a really tough day today. Let them tell their story. Let me try to understand where they're at, rather than say, what's your problem? You come home all grouchy, which is easy to do. We want to live consciously. So in order to use that power of creation in a divine way, we've got to tame ourselves. We've got to watch what we say, think, and do. Otherwise, we'll create things that are miscreations, like we did when we were sleeping on the job. And when it comes back to us, it's very painful. Yeah, very painful. Resilience. I know resilience because of the path that I took, a very hard path of compassion. And so I had to learn again what it is to be compassionate through going through things that were very, very hard, very difficult, very lonely. Being on a path of compassion is very lonely. And all you do is get beat up along the way until you start to understand that this is all miscreations coming back to be healed through my love. Through my love. But if I don't love myself and I beat myself up for what I was instead of what I can be, that's where I've suffered and suffered and suffered. So you've got to be resilient. You've got to get out of all the holes you dig for yourself, the doors you slam in your own face, the problems that you keep working in the same pattern that's just not working for you. But it's so easy to stay in that same pattern, because even if it's uncomfortable, it's comfortable. You see, because you know it. You know what it feels like. You don't know what you feel like if you change. So in that resilience, you get through the hard times and you keep working yourself towards a much brighter, loving, gentle life. Influence. Your holy presence on this planet, especially us star seeds that have been in divine states, in realms that were so based on love and nothing else is around but that. And then we lower our frequency and come here because we say, you know what, I'm going to bring what I know, what I feel, what I experience right to this planet. And I'm going to help these people with all good intentions. And then all of a sudden, you get in here completely blanked out for a very good reason, and we get caught in the mire. So we struggled our way back and kept lifting ourselves slowly, slowly out of the deep holes that we dug for ourselves. Your presence, your holy presence, the light of God on earth. It's just a matter of you living your life to the best that you can, always being conscious of your actions and how you act with people, what you do, what you say. And also, very important, how do I feel throughout the day? Do I feel angry that I have to be like this? We better get that block out of us because it's ruining the good things you're doing because it's not coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place I got to do it. It's like my kids helping in the house when they were kids. They really loved what they had to do, and they did it, and you knew they didn't like what they were doing. But when it was something that they loved to do, they did it beautifully, just like us, right? We do it too. We have a job and we don't like a certain aspect of it, and that part we try to skip over and move into a direction of what we do love to do. At the house, who likes to clean, right? But it's a necessity. So we change our mind and we make it into something fun. How I used to do it is I would put music on and make exaggerated movements. So I was actually doing aerobics while I was doing things till I broke a couple of glasses and I had to tone it down. But you see what I mean? If we just find a way to do what we do joyously with love behind it, everything comes out beautifully. It does. It changes the way things evolve from our thoughts, and we manifest them into something beautiful in the world. And we bring people with us by our kind acts. And then you just become it. You just become love. And everybody wants to be in your fields. Everybody wants to hear what you say. And that's when you get very quiet. In the beginning, you talk a lot when you learn a little, but as you become more mature into your spirituality, you get quieter about it. And then you hold off until you know that this is the moment I'm going to speak about it. I'm going to say something from my own experience. And that is such a magnificent moment. Everybody will listen to you. You'll be speaking from your heart, from your experience, and from your wisdom, what you learned from that experience. It's beautiful, but you have to have the resilience to get there and the influence that you are in this world. Do you want to influence the negative, the shadow, or influence through the light? A lot of people think it's funny and they do things in a joking way, but it's very mean. It really is. And the energy behind it is not in love. And that's how people will take it. And they won't feel any love behind it. And you'll say, oh, I was only kidding. But you can look at them and you can see they didn't feel it that way. Where do you feel things that are said? I either feel it in my gut or my heart. Those are the two places I feel energy. And depending on what's happening around me, I know exactly where it came from in the person that is sending it to me. How? Because where I feel it. So if people are talking out of their anger, or they just are expressing a passive aggressive behavior, that's how they do it, through humor. Yeah. That's why it really takes an art to be a comedian. It really is an art, because 90% of them, I knew they were miserable people. I knew by the topics, by the humor that they would bring out, especially the ones that were in Las Vegas. Um, they were the older guys, and I can't remember the name of this one particular guy, but he was always picking on people in the audience and pointing out people that were fat or whatever the gig was. And then they'd say, I'm only kidding. This was all part of the act. But you saw it, in your heart that he was hurting people. It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. So influence, what type of influence do you want to be in the world? Do you want to educate people? Do you want to love them? Just love them. Just love them no matter who it is. The guy sitting on the curb, all tattered clothes, looking really hungry. Can you love that person? You don't have to take him home, but love him. Send him love. Or somebody you see sitting on a park bench, an elder, crying or sad, just sitting there lonely. They don't have anybody. Their spouse is gone. Don't you get that impulse to go over and say, hi, can I sit down? Yeah. If we live in fear, we'll say, oh, I'm afraid, it might be a weirdo. No, let your heart be your guide. You'll know if it's not safe. It's when you do kind, random acts, as they say. Just do something nice. Like the lady today, I was struggling. I had all these papers with me that I had for Charlie's doctor. And I couldn't get the car door open because I had too much in my hands. And she just walks over to my car and opens the door and helps me. She says, I'll take the papers till you get out of the car. It was like, this was so amazing. And I'm just looking at her, and she was so happy, and she was smiling, and she said, oh, it's no big deal. Stop thanking me. I said, no, that was so nice of you. And she said, yeah, isn't it a beautiful day? And I'm thinking to myself, isn't that beautiful, a reflection that you would have of someone like that just so beautifully just did something? It was no big effort on her part. She didn't have to do such a nice thing. It was beautiful. And I call that a holy act of love. It was. And she got enough blessings while I was sitting inside. It probably carried her on a wave of joy, which she already was there. It's so nice to do something nice. So if you influence through the heart, and you are out there setting a pace that most people don't even know what that feels like right now. They're worried about paying the mortgage. They're worrying about how they're going to afford groceries for their family. They're stressing about everything. And there you are, with a smile on your face, a loving energy in your heart, radiating out to those around you. That's an influence of God on earth. God works through us. God works through us. And that's how God's goodness comes to the planet and to life. Power of healing. When Jesus said, healer, heal thyself, he wasn't talking about fixing the outer body. He really wasn't, because God is concerned with your soul's growth, your state of your heart, how you are emotionally and mentally. That is where the disease comes from. The conditions of our mental and emotional bodies. They are actual bodies. They're different colors. Mental is like a yellow, a beautiful yellow, and the emotional body is blue. And I've seen it separate out on people as they either are having an emotional breakdown, or if they're intellectually kind of trying to be spiritual, but they're really talking from their head. It actually separates out, and I can see the bodies, the different bodies that they have. It's very, very interesting. The first time it happened, I was at a spiritual retreat and I didn't know what I was looking at. It was so actually absurd. I thought, what am I looking at? But these are 3 bodies. Well, actually 4 bodies. There's the etheric double that's white. It looks like a ghost. And that is what we travel in when we do the guided meditations. And then there's the emotional body, the blue one. That's really big and out of proportion to the rest of your bodies. Then there is the mental body, and that yellow body is connected to the realms of intelligence and learning and all of that. And then there's the physical body. So there's the 4. Etheric double, that's actually your battery, your emotional body, your mental body, and your physical body. The physical body will heal to a certain degree if it hasn't metastasized from not taking care of the emotions and the patterns that we set up. So that's the last thing that will heal. But there are people, and I've seen this at the hospice house that I was working with. They were healed inside, accepting that they're going from their body, and they didn't need to have their body healed. They were healed in the way that is permanent, and you take it with you. They were healed emotionally and mentally. That's all they needed. They were at peace. And when you're at peace, you are healed. Permanent peace. Not just one day because I'm happy. I'm talking permanent peace. The peace that happens when you're facing whatever you're facing. Remember in the film, the big dragon thing standing in front of that guy? Yeah. Or the mountain that they talk about in the Bible. You have this big mountain in front of you and you don't know how to move it. But the whole point is, it's not outside you, the mountain. It's inside you. You see, the mountain of all of the past patterns, beliefs, everything that holds you back from being your full potential. So the power of healing is an inside internal act. And honestly, if you do believe that you can heal yourself, you can actually heal yourself physically. Back in the 80s, I was trained by this very exceptional woman, and she told me that if you cut yourself really bad, because I was pretty afraid of knives, and I know why, because I went back and checked it out from other experiences. And I had just sharpened a big, heavy knife that I used to cut like big roasts and turkey and stuff. And I slit my finger and blood, came out. And immediately I refused to acknowledge it. I took a big dish towel, I wrapped it all around it and squeezed it really hard. And I kept saying, I'm reversing this, I'm reversing this, I'm reversing it. I am going back and I'm reversing it before that knife touched my finger. I did it for quite a while. And I took off the wrapping and there was no cut at all. The only way I knew that I had cut myself is the towel was full of blood. I've only done that 4 times in my life. But it proved to me, I wanted to prove to me that I could do it, that I could heal physically. Okay? So it can be done. It can be done. All kinds of things. All we got to do is get the cause out of our body. What is causing this to happen to me? And the cause is always mental and emotional. What's wonderful is that you can even do this. All you got to do is believe that you can heal. Okay. Courage. Courage is a mighty force. That you can take risks to do what you believe in, to stand in the face of adversity and not care if people are saying, what is your problem? You are so weird. But you don't have to believe what they say. You don't ever have to believe that you're different or fitting a mold that they're wanting to put you in. I would guess that every one of you felt that when you were kids, that you just didn't fit. It just like, what am I doing here? I just don't feel like I watch other kids feeling. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. So you have to have courage to hold your own beliefs and live your life the way you believe you need to, not the way other people expect you to be part of the crowd, to go along with whatever they're doing. I never did that. I never dressed the way they said that everybody was going to dress. I dressed what I felt was my style. I was very independent. My mother said I was stubborn. Well, maybe I was. But I tried to use it to be who I was, not what everybody wants of you. It's a horrible way to live. And I tried to let my kids find their own way. They kind of failed in many ways, as all kids do. My daughter's doing that with her kids. And if you saw how the younger one dresses himself, she needs to step in. She really needs to step in. But to have courage to face the things in your life that you know is coming, And let me tell you, when you get older, like me and a couple others here, you got to have courage to get through this part of life, where in your mind you can do tumble salts and you try it and you're in traction. So when my grandsons are here, I felt like I could do anything until I tried doing something and it wasn't working out. So I stayed in the kitchen and let everybody else do all that with them. You have to know that, yes, have courage, stand up for yourself, do what you need to do because it's what you're being driven to do. It's part of your mission. And then understand that as you get older, as your body ages, because we've believed that we get old, even though our body replenishes every cell every 7 years, there's no reason to get old. It's the belief system that we have. You see? So a lot of people are recognizing that everything takes courage in life, doesn't it? The first time you walked, the first time you got on a bicycle, boy, that was scary. The first time you drove a car, right? You got to have courage. And you got to use reason. And you got to use heart. Use heart. The number one person you are here to love is you. And once you can love yourself, you can love basically anybody. Because a lot of us went through periods of time when we were very unhappy with ourselves. I was very unhappy with myself. Some of us physically, we get angry, or our hair isn't the way we want it. People with straight hair want curly, people with curly hair want straight. We drive ourselves crazy. We want to be tall, but we're short. Let me tell you, all this physical stuff, you created that body to serve you well. So it gave you all of this so that you could work through it and not let these things bother you. Accept who you are. Dress it up as nice as you can and love it just the way it is. People are on diets to gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. It's like it never ends. It never ends. Leave yourself alone and love yourself and make smart choices of what you do in your life. Stay active as much as you can. Some of us can't do too much of that. Do the things that you know are going to please you on every level. And then help others by loving them. If you prepare food that they love. Don't say, oh, you can't eat that. That is like so unhealthy. If they want lasagna, give them lasagna. Maybe that's what they need is the carbs. even though we don't want it. You see? Start lightening up. Start allowing to go with the flow with people. We can't make demands on them. That's not love. That's not love. We can guide them. We can show them the way. We can do a lot of great things for them. But they got to go through what they need to go through. And when we try to make it okay and everything all better for them, we're taking that experience away from them. And they got to do it another time when you're not around. Us mommies, we got big problems like that. We want to give them everything and do everything for them. But all we do is cripple the kids. We cripple them. And we cripple each other. We got to know balance, how to manage ourselves. This beautiful being that we are. We have to have the insight and use it. And the power of creation, we got to use that wisely. Resilience to the words of other people. What does it matter what they want of you? Unless you're abusive and you go, you know what, you're right. I'm not going to do that anymore. But you know what I'm talking about. You have to keep your own identity. The influence that you bring, choose to do it with light and respect to others. And courage. Muster up that courage. I used to be a coward. I really mustered up the courage. I can stand up for what I believe. I don't care. I really don't care to make believe that I'm somebody else. I'm not going to do it. And then the biggie, number 7, the power of love. At the core of your being, you are love. That's what you are. And anything outside of love doesn't belong to you at all. Learned behaviors, fear, anger, resentment, passive aggressive behavior, wanting to get even, all the lower dense energies. Be the love that you are in the world. Of all the things, that is the most important, because if you base everything on love, you won't do harm. You won't, you can't. Love yourself first. I'm looking around at you. If you guys would only know what you are gods and goddesses. You came to earth to help those who have no clue what I'm talking about. This is not religion. This is not based on dogma of any sort. It is the truth. And what is the universe? The universe is here to serve God. So when you put it out to the universe and say thank you for the abundance, the universe is going to shower you in abundance, responding to the voice of God. Sit with that. It's really big. It really is. John sent something to me that I wasn't even sure if I could even go there. But it's time that we recognize who we are. And there are species very different from us. And that's why they come here. And we're going to talk about them and why they interbred with us, thinking that they could get and be what we are, but they can't. No matter what they do, they can't. Yeah. You are very, very special species. And yes, star seeds, because you've come from all over and you landed on many different planes, many different dimensions, many different planets and universes. And you came here to help those that God called you to bring into the light and love. And that's why you're here. But we certainly got to start with us, because we really have to love ourselves better and stop picking on yourself. Stop picking on yourself. We're always doing it. And it's not fair. It's not fair. Do you know your body's responding to that? It actually gets like a depressed body. You do that to your body because it's trying to serve you the best it can. And it says, well, if you'd stop doing this to me, maybe I would be able to please you. I'm depending on you to help me to do what I can do. Stop putting such and such inside me all the time. It's hurting me. Everything is all connected. Our bodies, our energy fields, the universe, we're all connected. That's the one. That's the one. There's only you. There's only you. So the 7 powers given, let's start using them, trusting them, believing in them, so we can become them. The last stage of everything is to become love, to literally become it, not just practice it, not just give it, but actually become it. And then you've reached the state of perfection, the Christ, the completion. And you can move out of this dimension. Well, it's actually 2 dimensions we're in. 1 foot in 3, and the rest of us in 4. And then some of us are tipping into 5. Yeah. The 7 powers given are yours. You came in with it. It's in your DNA structure. It's in the plan. Let's start living it. So tonight's topic is 7 powers given. And what we learned tonight is these powers are available to us. What we learned tonight is it's not the end all. It's just really helpful to start believing in it, start practicing it, and start recognizing that you've been using some of these for a very long time. It is the holy moment when you say, you know what? I really do have insight. Look how I knew that. Look how I foresaw that what would happen. Or creating something like a painting or writing, beautiful writing, poetry, anything. Having the resilience when things are really tough. Being an influence of love in the world that's suffering so right now. Power of healing, to say that I can actually take this power and heal myself of the things that are not serving me anymore, not waiting for somebody to heal us. The courage to take risks. It takes, right, a lot of guts to take risks sometimes. But when we can pull that courage together, we can be amazing. And the power of love, the most important part of it, because that's what we are. That's what we are. You all love, you know the feeling of love. You know when you love something you see or a person that you admire. You know when you did something good and you really feel a sense of self-love. There's so much that love intertwines with our life. It's so important for all of us to recognize these 7 and any other parts of you that is divine. If you believe in it, it's the start. If you practice it, you'll get there. It's kind of like you knock and the door will open. You've got to want it, desire it. Actually, it's desire, not want. If you desire it, it's because your higher self keeps sending the signal down to you. It's time to do this. It's time to go up more. It's time to realize who you are. And that's your holy moment. It really is. And each time you recognize that you're doing these things, you start to see and understand the divinity that's within you. So tonight, I just want to say that everything is in your power to change in your life if you're not happy with certain things. You just have to do something about it once you recognize that certain things are really not leaving you feeling very divine or very pleased with yourself, or that your life isn't flowing in the direction that you'd like it. Okay? If you feel frustrated or angry about something, let those feelings go, because honestly, they stand in the way of that pure love that you are to express itself. It's so important to remember this. Anything that's vibrating at a frequency lower than love is really not a part of you. And that's why I can say you can get rid of it. You can let it go because it isn't a permanent part of you. You're free to do this. And when people say, well, I try, I always kind of cringe. It isn't about trying. It's about making up your mind and then doing it. Just do it. And every time you catch yourself doing something that you know is self-destructive or not serving you in the way that you would wish, that's your holy moment to say, no, I'm not doing it that way this time. And I'm not going to even finish the sentence. I'm going to stop. And I'm going to change the way I do it. What I say, how I act, like Lorraine did with the dog. It's so easy to get angry and all frustrated. Look, she knows she can't change it. The dog ate it. There's nothing she can do about it. And so the smart move was that she didn't get mad. Then she'd be mad at everybody. Why didn't you watch the dog? Da, 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 da. What we do when we get out of our center. So you proved that you can do this, that you can stay in your center in the face of adversity. And that's what all of us need to do. Prove it to ourselves we can do it. And every time we do it, we empower ourselves more. And then you'll start to see you don't have these experiences so much where you have to prove it to yourself. It's not necessary anymore because you healed it in yourself. That's what you're doing. You're healing it within yourself. All these things that I used to do, and I look back at the amount of energy that I wasted getting angry, that I wasted getting frustrated. It is such a waste of your energy. The universe doesn't waste 1 unit of energy. Why would we? We need that to do good, to do beautiful things, to bring hope to somebody that has none, and to love ourselves. It always has to come back to that. When you're kind to yourself, everything within you, all your bodies, energy field, everything is fluttering with joy because you brought that level of love inside you. You did. And you healed a part of yourself where you wouldn't do it before. You'd rather punish yourself for not whatever you were hoping that you could do. There's something so special about this because you're using these 7 powers to get there, right? These are the things that are going to get you where you want to go. And in a lot of ways, you're already there with a lot of it. You really are. You just have to watch yourself and listen. Sometimes you surprise yourself, don't you? You find yourself saying something, you go, wow, that was really good. But we've got to do what we say. Every word that comes out of our mouth, are you ready for this? We're talking to ourselves. So we best be listening to what we say. And if anybody else gets the gift, God bless them. God bless them. That message was for you. Remember, you're the only person here and you're talking to yourself. So when I counsel, when I speak here, whatever I do in my life, I'm listening. And I said, Barbara, you heard that. You're not doing that. It's now you have to do that, or you'll have no power to influence anyone else in that particular matter because you haven't done it yourself first. You see? And that's how you become a powerful speaker like a Christ. When Jesus speaks, let me tell you, the universe listens. When Buddha speaks, the universe listens. Lord Maitreya, when he speaks, the universe listens. Yeah. This is understanding. This is what we need to understand to get where we want to go. So we can talk all we want, we can learn all we want, but until we experience, it isn't wisdom for us. Because guess what? No one can give you wisdom, their wisdom, that they can't. Because the lack of experiencing it is missing from the formula. You see? So it's knowledge, experience equals, this is the formula, wisdom. That's the formula. And so if you're willing to live your life and go through the different experiences that yesterday would have made us a nutcase because we're so angry that it happened, and today we're able to look at it a little differently and say, you know what? It happened. And now I learned I don't do this and I don't do that, and I make sure I do this, and it won't happen again. And if it happens again, you go, I know it was my fault. I did it. I can't blame anybody. Yeah, it was all mine. When I walked away from the pot and I burnt the food, it wasn't anybody's fault, even though my husband was sitting right there watching it. It's mine. I own it. Okay. And this is the grace you give yourself. Be willing to look at yourself and find humor in some of the things you're not doing. Because when you can laugh at yourself, not cruelly, but just laugh and go, oh my God, how many more times am I going to do that before I get it? If you can do that, it's like you're already past the 50% mark, and then you'll be able to finish it off. The grace of God is within you. You don't have to beg for it. It's already there. Everything you need, all the energy in the world, and the love of loves is within you. Be the love that you wish to see in the world, and you will start seeing it in your world. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. We have a wonderful segment 3 coming up. I'm running just slightly over, or I know, I'm watching Robin. But I just want to say to the YouTube people that are listening to this on YouTube, you can join us to see the other 2 segments, because we only have segment 1 on the video there, and also my closing statement. So ourdivineorigin.com, and just send me an email, go to the forum page, and I will hook you up. We have quite a few people that have actually written to me, and signing them up. And when they can start, we're gonna be having 5 new people. So God bless you all. And just keep going. Keep these in mind. Go watch the video again. He had such a beautiful voice. I really enjoyed that one. And we'll continue from there, using the 7 powers that were given to us already. Amen.
We are deeply grateful for this forum. We thank those in attendance for your attention, for your wonderful questions, future topic suggestions, and stories that touched our hearts and opened our minds to new possibilities. Our collective energy has filled this forum with light and love for each other. We are so grateful that each of us brings guides and angelic beings to the forum, raising the frequency even higher. We are grateful for the assistance inspiration and guidance from the benevolent beings overseeing the forum. Know we are all deeply loved and richly blessed. Amen.